All right. Welcome back, everybody, to another deep dive.
Yes.
Today,
Back at it again.
we're talking about
With another one.
saving money.
Yes, sir.
We're not talking about being stingy or
Right.
or a Scrooge or anything like that.
No.
We're talking about smart saving,
Strategic.
yeah, and being responsible and all that.
Absolutely.
So we found this article
Okay.
about a YouTube creator named Craig,
Uh-huh.
who seems to have a pretty good system and gives some good advice.
Yeah, he lays out some really solid principles. Like, it's not just about pinching pennies.
Yeah.
It's about
yeah.
building a solid foundation for the future.
Yeah, he talks a lot about mindset, right?
Right.
He says saving shouldn't be about trying to keep up with other people or,
Right.
impress anybody.
Not about appearances at all.
It's about
yeah.
feeling secure,
Peace of mind.
peace of mind,
Yeah.
having that
Yeah.
cushion.
That's a good way to put it. A cushion.
Yeah.
Because, life throws curveballs.
Yeah.
Unexpected expenses pop up. And having that financial safety net can make all the difference.
Absolutely. And he even calls that freedom.
He does. He says it's about
Yeah.
having the freedom to make choices, pursue opportunities without constantly stressing about money.
Yeah, and one of the ways he suggests getting there is this 20% rule.
Yeah, the 20% rule.
That sounds kind of tough, though.
It does sound like a big chunk.
Yeah, 20% of everything you earn.
Yeah.
Save it.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
He started doing this when he was a waiter.
Really?
Yeah. So it's not about how much you make. It's about building that habit of saving consistently.
That's pretty impressive, actually.
It is. It shows that anyone can do it
Yeah.
if you commit to it.
And then he talks about the magic of compound interest.
Yes, compound interest.
I feel like this is something everyone
it's the
throws around, but
Yeah.
like, what does that
it's
actually...
the secret sauce.
Yeah. It's essentially your money making more money for you.
So, how does that actually work?
Imagine this. You put $100 into an investment account.
Hmm.
Let's say it earns a decent rate of return. Over time, that money grows not just on the initial $100, but on the accumulated interest as well.
Ooh.
So year after year, the growth accelerates. It's like a snowball effect.
So even if you're just putting in little bits at a time.
Exactly. The earlier you start, the more time your money has to grow exponentially.
Gotcha.
That's why they say time is your greatest ally when it comes to investing.
Yeah, so that kind of emphasizes that starting early is
That's
super important.
front load it.
Yeah.
Sooner the better.
Okay, so we've talked about
Huh?
the 20% rule. We've talked about
Compound interest.
compound interest.
Okay.
And then he
What else?
mentions this
Oh.
trap that he sees people falling into.
Yeah, he calls it the status spending trap.
Yeah.
I love that name.
Yeah, and it makes sense, it's so tempting to get caught up in that cycle.
Yeah.
Especially nowadays with social media, everyone's showcasing their latest and greatest purchases. It's easy to feel pressure to keep up.
Yeah, and then he says something about,
He has a funny way of putting it.
yeah, he says like buying a fancy new car is like,
It's like saying, look at all this money I no longer have.
yeah, right.
Right?
Yeah,
So true.
like you just spent all this money.
It's a hilarious but insightful way to look at it. It's like you're advertising your lack of wealth rather than your wealth.
Yeah, because true wealth isn't
Right.
about,
It's not about keeping up with the Joneses.
yeah.
It's about building a secure financial future for yourself and your family.
Yeah, it's funny because I feel like a lot of people think
Yeah.
having a lot of stuff.
Yeah, they equate possessions with wealth.
Yeah, you're like the definition of being wealthy.
Right. But true wealth is about having options.
Yeah.
It's about having the financial freedom to make choices that align with your values.
Okay, so we've talked about saving. We've talked about avoiding that trap.
Right.
He also talks about investing.
Yeah, putting your money to work for you.
Yeah, which can be pretty intimidating for a lot of people.
It can be. There's so much jargon, so many different options. It's easy to feel overwhelmed.
Yeah, I've always been kind of
Right.
scared of it, to be honest.
But Craig simplifies it. He breaks it down into a really approachable strategy.
Oh, okay. So what does he recommend?
He's a big advocate for index funds, specifically those that track the S&P 500.
Index funds. Okay, so tell me, like...
Okay, so an index fund
Yeah.
is basically a type of mutual fund
Yeah.
that holds a basket of stocks that mirror a specific market index. In this case, the S&P 500, which is a collection of 500 of the largest U.S. companies.
So it's like you're investing in like the whole...
You're diversifying your investment across a broad swath of the market.
Yes, you're not like putting all your eggs in one basket.
Exactly. And that helps to reduce risk. Plus, index funds are typically low cost and have historically performed very well over the long term.
Makes sense. So it's like a more hands-off approach to investing.
It is. You're not trying to pick individual stocks or time the market. You're basically betting on the overall growth of the economy.
And historically, that's been a pretty good bet.
It has.
Okay, so index funds.
Yeah.
Got it. Now, how do you stay motivated to save all this money?
Well, Craig has a pretty cool trick for that.
Yeah.
He calculates how much his savings will grow by the time he retires.
Oh, that's smart.
It's a powerful way to visualize the long-term benefits of your efforts. Suddenly, saving isn't about deprivation, it's about building a brighter future for your future self.
Yeah, I like that. It's like you're giving a gift to your future self.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. We've talked about saving consistently, investing wisely.
Mindset.
Oh yeah, mindset is huge.
Avoiding the status spending trap.
The status spending trap. But there's one more tactic that Craig shared that I found particularly helpful.
Oh, tell me about it.
It's the idea of delaying gratification.
Oh, yes. Delaying gratification. That's a game changer.
So basically, before he buys anything, he does a ton of research, reads reviews, compares prices,
Right.
and then he waits.
He waits.
He waits like a few weeks or even a month.
And you know what often happens?
What?
The urge to buy it completely disappears.
Really?
It's amazing how that works.
Because I feel like so often we get caught up in the moment, we see something shiny and new, we want it now.
Instant gratification.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But by delaying that gratification, you give yourself time to really consider if you need something or if it's just a fleeting desire.
And most of the time, it's a fleeting desire.
You know, I actually tried this recently with a new gadget I thought I really, really needed.
Oh, yeah. How'd it go?
I waited a few weeks, and guess what? The urge to buy it completely vanished.
You see? It works. It's like magic.
It's like magic. And I realized I could live quite happily without it.
And you saved yourself some money in the process.
Exactly. And finally, Craig emphasizes the importance of using budgeting tools.
Oh, yeah. Budgeting tools are essential.
He specifically mentioned one called Rocket Money.
I've heard good things about Rocket Money. It helps you track your spending, set budgets, and even cancel those pesky subscriptions you're not using.
So it's not just about saving and investing, it's also about being mindful and organized with your spending.
Exactly. It's about having a holistic approach to your finances, understanding where your money is going, identifying areas where you can cut back, and making sure you're not wasting money on things you don't need.
It seems like Craig's overall philosophy boils down to a few key principles: shifting your mindset about money, saving consistently, investing wisely, and being conscious of your spending habits.
I think you've nailed it. It's not about deprivation or being a Scrooge. It's about taking control of your finances, building a solid foundation for the future, and ultimately achieving financial freedom.
This has been a really insightful deep dive. It's given me a lot to think about and definitely some strategies I'm going to try to implement in my own life.
I'm glad to hear that. Remember, it's a journey, not a race. Start small, build good habits, and stay focused on your long-term goals.
One thing that's got me thinking now is, what about those times when going into debt is unavoidable, like for education or a home? Are those situations where this advice doesn't apply? Or are there ways to adapt these principles to those bigger financial decisions? Something to ponder as you continue your own deep dive into the world of personal finance.
Absolutely. Lots to consider. Until next time.
See you then.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.